And turns out that, you know, Jean Grey is in fact a Omega level mutant, which is a really big deal. That's a very powerful mutant. In any case, Death comes to her again, and it's like, hey, guess what? This power is gonna, you know, it's gonna be transferred to one of your children. And then in an alternate universe, actually, the Phoenix is taken by Jean Grey's daughter, Rachel. But that's besides the point. Alright. After this whole she develops a secondary mutation. She dies again and is reborn again. She has a secondary mutation and she gets her telekinesis back. In any case, Jean Grey comes back again, like I said, and she becomes the secondary headmaster for the school for the Charles Xavier, the Xavier Institute. But due to the fact that she's now the Phoenix and whatnot, she has a little bit more responsibility, and she I'm reading this stuff right now. I've read this 3 or 4 times because I thought I knew this stuff, and I don't, and it's confusing. Let's see. Cassandra Nova tries to take over the world. She prevents it and then has to go off to help Xavier for some strange reason. And which, well, this is all going on. Scott's having the mental affair with Emma Frost. Jean Grey is very upset by this. Of course, she's tipped off by the Stafford Cuckoos, or the which are a group of girls that are psychics, but they only really can work as a group of. Yeah. Anyways, the Cuckoos are trying to get back at Emma for some strange reason. Emma gets shattered, and the Phoenix saw this and was like, oh man, this is kind of screwed up, and then helps repair Emma Frost from the molecular level. And then Zorn turns out to be Magneto, and then Magneto takes Phoenix and Wolverine to Asteroid M, and as Asteroid M is about to collide into the sun, Wolverine kills Jean, which Jean is reborn again as the Phoenix again, and they go and they stop Magneto, and then she dies in Scott's arms again. Then, in the 150 years into the future, a Phoenix egg hatches and Jean Grey is reborn as the Phoenix once more. Are you catching a pattern with this? Once again, this is all within the confines of this death and rebirth crap that I'm talking about right now. This is all in the confines of the X-Men continuity no one wants to talk about. This is during the really bad X-Men continuity, because after she's reborn, she goes back through time to stop Beast from using the drug Kick and destroys it, and thus she dies again. But this time, her death actually has some kind of meaning, other than just, you know, a plot point. Her universe was going to die, was going to be ripped asunder, and she met other avatars for the Phoenix from other universes, and they're saying, just let it die. It's okay, let it die. Jean Grey says, no, I will not let my universe die, because I am still in love with Scott Summers. And she pretty much decides to refuse the world, to heal the universe, and tell Scott Summers to live on and, live his life. And, keep his relationship with Emma Frost. And then she is reborn again but it's interesting though, because she was actually reborn before she was supposed to be this time. And because, what is it? Kid Omega, wants the Phoenix powers to resurrect Sophie from one of the Stafford Cuckoos, who died for him while he was trying to take over the Xavier Institute. The Shi'ar is up in a tizzy because they're like, oh man, the Phoenix is back. This is not good. So it all comes down to they're at the Arctic. They are fighting the Phoenix, who has gone completely nuts because it's been awakened too early and it's now the Dark Phoenix again. And Emma convinces the Phoenix, the Phoenix Force, that Scott Summers no longer loves Jean Grey, so therefore just no longer loves the Phoenix Force. Which the Phoenix Force is now a part of Jean Grey and still has the feelings for Scott Summers. And Emma Frost then says, if you want Scott Summers to love you, let me become your host. So for a little bit, she becomes the host, but it's destroying her from the inside because she's not an Omega level mutant, and it's just eating her alive from the inside. And then Kid Omega somehow gets the Phoenix Force out of her and brings back Sophie, and then Sophie says, I reject you, I don't want to be alive, and goes back to being a lifeless corpse. Jean Grey comes out of the ice and dressed as the Phoenix and fights the Phoenix Force that somehow got back into Emma Frost, which Emma Frost as the Phoenix is now going, you know what, forget you humans, I'm going to just destroy the Earth. The two of them fight, and the Phoenix Force is surprised that, Jean Grey is able to do all this Phoenix-type shit with her mind, and Jean Grey reminds her, you and I are the same. And then they fuse back together. The Shi'ar Empire comes over the horizon and zaps them. And Jean Grey saves all the X-Men and disappears, presumably dead. Again. And that's pretty much... There's been hints that Navy Jean Grey might be coming back. Again. Due to the fact that the mutant baby from the Messiah complex reaches for a locket but that Cable has around his neck. They reaches for a locket that has a picture of Cyclops and Jean. And then there's also the fact that they're in the Secret Invasion. One of the Skrulls is disguised as the Phoenix. Any case, I hope to God this was done in a timely fashion, because I don't want to do this again. Jean Grey is the most confusing person out of the entire X-Men mythos. Any case, last X-Men review is coming up soon. Charles Xavier. Stay tuned, guys. This is Omki Excalibur saying, take it easy, and if it's easy, take it twice. Later.